All right, thank you so much, Ellis. Today I'm joined with Dr. Denise Davis-Maye. She's with Alabama State University. Thank you so much for being with us today. And I know that a lot of moms and high schoolers are going to like to hear what you have to say, because a lot of people, they're starting to think about college next year. That's a huge adjustment, and can really affect a student's mental health. We always hear about, the freshman 15 or whatever, but talk about mental health for students.
Yeah, so there are a number of stressors that new college students have to manage, whether it's academic challenges, financial strain, the development of relationships, and so all of those impact then some of the mental health challenges we then see, which are primarily depression. Anxiety is a huge issue for college students. We're seeing more interpersonal violence, so some of the relational issues become problematic, and so students have to be prepared prior to coming into this environment where they're now expected to be full-grown adults at 18.
But I also know that COVID has been a big strain on students.
Yeah.
It's made things difficult. Talk about that a little bit.
So the class of 2020 was significantly impacted, right, by COVID-19, and frankly, the class of 2021 will be impacted by our transitioning on campuses. A number of our students are managing exceptional challenges, whether it's loss that they've experienced, and we've had a number of students to experience the loss of parents, loss of siblings as a result of COVID-19. And so we have tried to recognize that and then identify opportunities for students to still be engaged. So we are making sure that we're available, that our students have access, that they recognize that what they're going through is not atypical, they're not alone.
What advice would you give parents who are maybe, they've got a high schooler just about to go off to college? What advice would you tell them to help with that transition?
Start the discussion before they leave, to identify some sort of toolkit that the students will have access to once they arrive on campus. Talking to your child, your young person, about how they manage stressors. They are going to experience stress, identifying that there's a difference between distress and eustress. Eustress is the good stuff, the stuff that motivates you to do more, to do well. Distress is what we want them to avoid and manage when it happens. Another recommendation is to establish a regular point of contact. Some students are really independent, so that point of contact might only happen once a month via FaceTime. But for other students, it might be important for you to set a time. I've talked with my youngest about, I need you to call me every day, either at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m., just to touch base. Let me know that you've either made it back into the dorm or you are preparing for the day. Let me know what your schedule's like. The point for that is not really keeping up with them. It's more about having a baseline, right, for their emotional status, so that when something changes, you're able to identify that. If you don't talk to your child, but once a month, then you won't necessarily detect those changes.
What are some of the signs that they should be looking for if something seems off, or kind of those first signs that mental health might need a checkup? Okay.
If you have a really talkative kid, someone who, talks your ear off, and then all of a sudden they're not talking, you have to drag information out of them, then that's something that you need to be conscientious of. That's a mood change, right? It's important to know who their friends are. It's important for their friends to have a relationship with you, so you don't have to know everyone, but one or two folks who would feel comfortable calling you if something doesn't seem right.
So let's say a college student is watching. They feel like, gosh, my mental health is struggling. I do need help. What are those just first baby steps that they should take? Because sometimes, even the smallest thing can seem like a mountain when you're going through some hard times.
Talk to someone. Talk to a friend. Don't worry about where that information goes after that. Get it off of you.
Yeah.
Get it off of your chest.
Yeah.
Remove it. And by telling someone else about it, you're releasing it. And hopefully the individuals that you're speaking it to will be able to provide some support and help you get to the professional that can help you actually manage the challenge.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I know that there are many students and parents that are going to find this information very, very helpful. So we appreciate you. And right after the break, LSSQ will be back.